Taehyung returns from military service. HYBE staff hold tearful surprise party, a heartwarming reunion for the world. Kim Taehyung, better known as V of BTS, officially completed his mandatory military service on June 10, 2025. But who would have thought this moment awaited by millions of fans actually began with an unexpected surprise? Not on stage, not through an official company announcement. Taehyung suddenly appeared at HYBE headquarters, and the welcome wasn't from a public crowd, but from his second family, the HYBE staff who had been waiting for him in silence. One question echoed in the hearts of millions of fans. What actually happened behind the walls of the HYBE office that day? That day was unlike any other day in the HYBE building. The main floor looked more festive, but remained closed off from media attention. There were no press invitations, no camera spotlights. All that was there were purple balloons, ribbons that read, "Welcome back, Taehyung," and dozens of faces that couldn't hide their emotional smiles. In the corner of the room, a large table was decorated with Taehyung's favorite foods: roast beef, taekook, and several slices of fresh strawberry cake. But it wasn't the food that made the atmosphere so emotional. It was about the meaning behind that simple celebration. For nearly the past 2 years, HYBE staff had been going through their days without the physical presence of the BTS members in the office. Although communication continued, the atmosphere inside the building felt different, quieter, emptier. Many of the staff had worked with BTS since their trainee days, even before their name echoed on the world stage. They weren't just employees. They were part of the journey. And that day, for the first time in a long time, Taehyung returned, not as a world-class artist, but as family coming home. The welcome wasn't part of a marketing strategy. There was no live broadcast, no promotional announcement. Everything was prepared in secret. A staff member uploaded a photo of a balloon with the handwritten words, "Welcome back, RV." It didn't take long for the photo to spread in online fan communities. Emotions exploded. Quite a few wrote tearful comments. This is more than just a welcome. This is love that has quietly grown and never faded. Seconds after Taehyung entered the room, the atmosphere changed completely. Everyone stood up. Some clapped softly, while others immediately held back tears. Some of the old staff, who had accompanied BTS since their early days, were seen coming from afar just for this moment. Even one of BTS's former stylists was seen hugging Taehyung tightly. There were no words, only emotional gazes. This wasn't an ordinary reunion. This was an emotional meeting built on years of hard work, dreams, and sacrifices, and as always, Taehyung came with his signature smile, gentle, full of sincerity. He immediately hugged each of the staff present. "I missed you all," he said in a voice almost drowned out by cheers and applause. His hands held a cup of hot coffee, but his eyes were fixed on the people who welcomed him like a hero returning from the battlefield. That day, there was no barrier between star and staff. There was only a family made whole again. Even the CEO of HYBE, who usually maintains a professional distance, was seen present and gave Taehyung a brief hug. "We're proud of you," he said briefly but meaningfully. In one corner, a staff member prepared a slideshow of flashbacks of Taehyung's journey over the years with BTS. From the first days of hard practice, the small stages that were once quiet, to the great moments of victory at the Grammys. And among those pictures, one sentence appeared on the screen: "You never left. You were always with us." What made this celebration even more touching was the silent presence of the old staff. Those who had moved divisions, even those who no longer worked at HYBE, returned to witness this important moment. This wasn't just a formality. This was proof that the relationship between BTS and the team behind the scenes wasn't just a business relationship. This was a family connected by the same dream, and by time that tested sincerity. Not long after that touching moment, J-Hope uploaded a short post on Instagram story. Only 2 words: "Welcome home." No names were mentioned, no faces, but all ARMYs knew who he meant. It was a signal that even if not all were physically present, the BTS members were connected to each other. ARMYs immediately made the hashtag Welcome Home Taehyung a global trend in just a few minutes. On Twitter, Instagram, to community forums, one voice echoed, BTS is coming back one by one. That day felt like a new chapter. There was no stage, no spotlights, but the atmosphere was more magnificent than any concert. Sincere emotions turned into an inexplicable strength. HYBE staff didn't just welcome their artist. They welcomed a family member who had gone to carry out state duties and now returned bringing new hope. This was the beginning of the return of the complete BTS formation that the world had been longing for. A few minutes before the end of the event, Taehyung stood in the middle of the room, then said, "Thank you for waiting. I know it's been hard, but now I'm here, and we'll start again." That sentence was enough to make the whole room fall into emotional silence. There was no need for long speeches or formal addresses. Simple words from the heart had conveyed everything. The welcome party only lasted about an hour, but in that short time, the world seemed to stop. Emotions, love, and memories flowed without limits. From behind the closed doors of HYBE, an event took place that would be remembered forever. Taehyung had returned, not only to the music stage, but to the home where he grew up, with the people who always believed, even when the world was once silent. And now, ARMYs know, the rise of BTS is not just speculation. This is a reality that is happening one step at a time. Starting from one small party, one hug, one warm welcome. But the impact shook the world. Because, as they always say, BTS never left. They were just preparing to come back stronger. Welcome back, Taehyung. Your family has been waiting for you for too long. BTS's Taehyung returns from military service and is welcomed with a party by HYBE staff. But is all of this true? A surprise party behind the doors of HYBE headquarters, smiles that couldn't be hidden, and emotional tears that fell one by one. It all happened just hours after Taehyung, or V of BTS, officially completed his mandatory military service. This moment immediately made the online world explode. But let's take a breath for a moment and ask honestly, did all of this really happen? Or is this just a beautiful narrative deliberately designed to shake public emotions and boost exposure? The visuals circulating, from photos of purple balloons to cakes that read, "Welcome back, V," seemed to be proof that the welcome party was real. However, in today's digital age, are visuals alone enough to be used as authentic evidence? With increasingly sophisticated editing technology and an explosion of content whizzing around on platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, to Threads, who can guarantee that every frame we see isn't the result of clever engineering? An important question then arises. Why wasn't such a big moment officially announced by HYBE? Why did the initial information only appear through leaks from anonymous staff accounts on Twitter and short video snippets that didn't even clearly show the faces of the members? Is this a deliberate stealth strategy? Or is it a signal that this event is too sweet to pass up and perhaps too perfect to be true? In the midst of euphoria and tears of happiness, we are faced with the increasingly unreliable reality of social media. Hashtags like #TheWelcomeParty, #HYBEReunion, and #BTSBackTogether had topped the trending charts in various countries. But ask yourself, why does so much viral information come from unverified accounts? And why do we believe it so quickly? We are not here to refute or reinforce this narrative, but to invite you to think more deeply. Are we witnessing a real, touching family moment? Or is this just an emotional treat created to attract attention, engagement, and global trending topics? Let's examine it further. Some of the viral videos show HYBE staff interactions that seem too camera-ready. Cakes with the BTS logo and balloons with perfect calligraphy seem impossible to make spontaneously. Is it possible that this party had been planned days in advance just for a short broadcast moment? And if so, who benefits the most from the virality of this event? HYBE? BTS? or the media that spread it. And now we ask you, did Taehyung's welcome party really happen? Or is this just one chapter in a larger narrative, which may not all be real? Write down your opinion. Challenge this argument. Spread it if necessary. But most importantly, don't stop thinking critically, because true truth is not only found in viral news, but in our ability to ask, analyze, and look for more than what is seen on the screen.